and we'll go from there. So the last time we saw each other was in Dallas, correct?
Yeah, Dallas, right.
Have you guys played in any other tournaments since?
Not since Dallas, no. Nathan and I, because of where he's in Texas, Austin, and I'm in Arizona,
Mhm.
we talk a lot weekly.
Okay.
But we pick the national tournaments that we want to go to. Now,
Okay.
this will for instance Vegas. This will be our 8th year that we will be playing and participating in the Vegas tournament. It's a national tournament, and we've made a lot of friends, and we get to reunite with a lot of friends there at Vegas, and that's one of the reasons we love it. We've played in Detroit when they opened that up. ABC started that 3 years ago, I believe. We played in the first and second one. We didn't go back this year, and then we play at the Dallas one. Now, those are the 3 nationals that we play in. We've been to California. I've been to Chicago. I've been to New York. I played at Guy DeSantis' home court in Mount Vernon. I played there. I've gone up to the Sons of Italy up in Methuen, Massachusetts, and I played up there. So Nathan and I, because he's working still and has a family and is helping, we're partners on this Chickenfoot. It's a father-son deal. Always has been from the get-go. And the way I like to look at it is, any day I can play bocce with my son is a great day. So that's part of our brand. Chickenfoot is the name, but it's a father-son project that we get to play in. And you'd be surprised at how many father-sons participate in national tournaments.
Right.
It's just something that we do. But so those are the 3 main nationals that we do.
Okay.
We want to go back east. We've been invited to Racine, Wisconsin. Nathan's been invited. Cleveland. We the Bocce Bros.
Okay.
We want to go back to Cleveland. I'm not back. I've never been. I want to play, their style. So
yeah,
they're great for the game of bocce.
Right. Now let me ask you this question. So, are you originally from the Phoenix area and also from the Texas area? Where are you guys originally from?
The Bay Area in California.
Oh, okay. See, I did not know that. I thought you were both originally from like Texas, from that area.
No, I moved to Phoenix 20 years ago when the company I was with wanted to open up an office, and I decided, it was the first chance that my wife and I could be empty nesters. I had to explain to her what that meant. So we came out in 2005, and we've been here ever since. Love it. We're in a 55 gated community where they have the tennis courts and the bocce courts, and we now have pickleball courts. So when I would do my morning swim laps, the guys were playing bocce in the morning, and I was working. These are retired guys, right? 55 and older. They kept enticing me. Come on, Dan. Come on, Dan. Come on. I said, I got to go to work. I'll be here Saturday when I don't have to work. Well, that's how this whole Chickenfoot started, because I would go and play almost 4 or 5 straight hours of bocce. As long as those guys were playing, I was going to play. Well, by the time I got home, it was like 8 hours of picking weeds. I have a bad back. I have a lower back problem, 3 degenerative discs, all the medical things you can talk about. And that prohibits me from doing a lot of physical stuff. So the idea of creating a bocce ball retriever came into mind. I created it from it was my idea. Nathan saw it. He says, "Dad, we can sell this." And he had an engineer that he was working with, and this guy took my prototype with a 3D printer and created the actual chicken foot that he designed from my prototype. And we were in business. 2016 is when I retired and dedicated myself full time to Urioste Sports and Entertainment. That's when Nathan and I joined up and started a LLC. We got it copywritten, 3 patents, registered, the whole, because he's got a law degree, right? He's got to be able to, step up and take lead. And sure enough, we reached out to the U.S. Bocce Federation, found out that the Nationals were going to be in Livermore, California. That's where I lived for 20 years. It's just south of San Francisco. And so when we had an opportunity to go back home and be a sponsor for the U.S. Bocce Federation Nationals, we had a table. We sold our first Chickenfoot there. Joanne Jacobs. I don't know if you've known her. If you know her, Ron Jacobs.
Ron Jacobs' wife. Yes. Yeah. I don't know her.
She was my first customer. I've seen her.
Okay.
Yeah, she was my first customer. I've got pictures of her buying the first Chickenfoot. And
now, did you guys play bocce when you guys were living in California, or this is something that you picked up and then Nathan kind of came along and picked it up too?
Right. I played a couple times at Capo de Bocce in Los Gatos, but not on a regular basis. And then when I moved out here, I started playing on the weekends, and then it just snowballed after that. Once I retired, I was playing 6 days a week, just like the retired guys were.
Yeah,
I've been doing it ever since 2016.
Well, that's great. That's great. And so when you guys go to tournaments, and we'll kind of take a little bit of a tangent here, but when you guys go to tournaments, you two go, and then what I've noticed is you pick up other players to fill out if it's a 4-man team. Am I correct on that, or do you usually have the same players all the time?
No, you're correct. We go in as a father-son team. Whoa.
We have Joe Tavernisi. Joe Tavernese is our dedicated
okay, that's the guy from New Hyde Park.
Yeah,
New York. Yeah.
So we met him. Was it last year or the first year of the Dallas tournament?
Okay. First year of Dallas.
So we started playing along with him. That's right. But my dad's selling himself short. He's the president of the bocce club within his community, and he plays in tournaments. I want to say, if not quarterly, monthly tournaments with his league. Dad, how big is that league that you're the president of?
The club membership here, we have 241 members that I oversee, and then we have a league commissioner. We have 40 guys that play in the league. And we have a women's league. We have 24 women playing in that league. And then we have tournaments. We can go as high as 12 teams. And it's a 2-day tournament, but it's all internal. And it's all from the 241 club members that we have here.
That's a large club. 240 people. That's a large club.
Yeah. But it's not the large.
And real quick, and then to your point, Mark. Yeah, we are trying to get a bocce club here in Austin. I'm trying to start something up here with some of the barbecue places around here that are very, very well known in Texas. Austin seems to be the hub of barbecue, and we hope to do. Really inspired from what American Bocce did, right? Like we started up from the community, and you saw how they grew their players and their membership to now, they're some of the best players in the tournaments, compete heavily, and that's what we really want to see that, and hopefully, by next year, we have our own sort of bocce league where we can bring consistent players to these tournaments.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you should mention that because we're we're going through kind of a downward spiral right now here out in Southern California. So the club that I'm a member of Huntington Beach, when we first started in 2019, we were close to 75 people, something like that. And now this year, there's only 20. So yeah, I mean, and the problem is because we have such good weather and we can't get the younger generation to kind of come out. So those 60, 70 members we had a number of years ago are either all passing on or they're just getting to that point of age that they just can't make it out to the courts. So we kind of brainstormed, and kind of to piggyback on what you're saying, Nathan. So Huntington Beach is part of the United States Bocce Federation. And the United States Bocce Federation I mean, each region is allotted $1,000 for the promotion of bocce in the area, and it's a very, very it's a minute little law per se. So I kind of approached them and I asked them, and they gave us the $1,000 because of our dwindling membership. And what we did is we bought a portable bocce ball court. It just got delivered yesterday, and we already have 2 breweries that want us to put it in. That's how ABC, I'm kind of trying to copy ABC on how they did it. And I think, Nathan, because of what Austin is. Austin is, I mean, the music, the barbecue, the whole thing, the nightlife, that might be a way to, show the game to people outside of having them come to an actual court. Sometimes imitation is the best form of flattery. That's why I started this podcast, because I saw the Bocce Bros do it. The whole portable thing I did because ABC did it. You guys are doing something. Everybody in this community is doing something to try to grow this sport. And that's why I like having these conversations. Right. Because of the fact of what you guys bring. Your father,
well, Mark,
and son. And I think you're right. There you go.
No, I was just saying that one of the things that Nathan and I do when we're at these national tournaments is the Chickenfoot's going to sell itself. Right. Once you see it, once you see what it does, it's going to, and our target is for that person like Nathan's age. Okay. Mm-hmm. If he wants to play with me, I can't play unless I have a Chickenfoot. So
right.
Maybe it's incumbent on Nathan to buy one and say, here, Dad, here, Uncle, here, grandfather, come get off the couch and this will help you play. It gives you the independence. You don't need to rely on somebody to pick up the ball for you. I mean, it's a game that they've played long since the childhood, and now they can continue to play the game if they have a Chickenfoot in their hand. So, we're going through the same thing here at our community. I've been here 20 years. When I moved in, I was 55 years old. I'm 74 now, and we've lost a few members. It happens. But when they get into their 80s, it's like, well, Dan, I can't play unless I have a Chickenfoot. Well, here you go. And they're still playing. And we've had customers that have called us back and said, if it wasn't for the Chickenfoot, I'd be still sitting on the couch. You guys allowed me to enjoy the game pain-free, independently, and so on. Mm-hmm. And it sells itself. So to you and your club, I'd say, hey, maybe you pick up one. Maybe we send you one, and you start playing with it, and they'll go, "Where'd you get that?" Like, give my card.
We actually do have guys that have kind of built their own kind of wonky ones, but. You're right. That's the exact thing is like we just spoke about is some of the people are now at that point. They're just like, yeah, I can't, but maybe this is the thing that gets them from point A to point B. And then they're back doing it. Yeah. And that's the thing of what the community has to do is we have to get a little bit more innovative. It can't be, your grandfather's bocce ball. You have to bring in, you got to get in the younger generation. And, with that being said, since we kind of went off on a tangent here, I know that you guys got a few Chickenfoot products. You have the CF Premier and the Premier Foot. Could you kind of explain, so if a person is listening to this, what the differences are and how you even came your progression? Because I know you probably just had a prototype and then you moved on to something bigger and better. So kind of give us an explanation of the product itself.
The product itself is a shaft, aluminum shaft, very lightweight with the golf grip handle, and the foot is basically can handle the Polino as well as the standard bocce ball, one ball at a time. Okay, that's all you throw is one ball at a time.
Right.
So you pick up the Polino, switch hands. That's what I do anyway. I switch hands with the stick, throw the Polino, bend and reach out and pick up a bocce ball, and I'm off and running. The original one that we started with in 2016 was a solid shaft with a epoxy glued solid foot. So if one part or all of it breaks, you'd have to buy a new one.
Okay.
So during COVID, and thanks to our engineer Martin Vasquez, he had some time to reconfigure, and he came up with a shaft that contracts and expands. So you can do it to your own height. If you're a short person, maybe it's only a 32-inch length. If you're a taller person, it expands out to 38 to 4 feet. Whatever you need.
Kind of like a hiking stick.
Yeah, a trekking pole.
Okay.
It is basically a trekking pole with our name on it.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing he did was he made the foot to be removable. You can screw it on or screw it off. Think of a trekking pole with a rubber tip on the end, right?
Right.
Traction. Well, that tip comes off, and underneath that tip, at the base, there's threads. And he designed the new Premier Chickenfoot itself to attach to most trekking poles. Not all of them, most of them. Okay. And so we sell that as a separate item. You can buy the full stick online, Amazon, Etsy, Pinterest, eBay. They're just chickenfoot.com, .co. I'm sorry, chickenfoot.co.
Okay, and all that information I'll have down in the details. So if people want to go look at it, I'll have links attached that you can go right to it and go right to the page where they could buy it.
Right,
so,
Nathan.
And so just to be clear, the foot, the removable foot, and the collapsible pole makes it easier to travel. It makes the foot easier to replace. And what I think we did that I'm really proud of was we gave 2 price points for entry, right? So if you have your existing trekking pole, you can buy a foot and attach it. Like my dad said, it works with most trekking poles, it doesn't work with all. So, we sell our trekking pole with the custom golf grip, right? So for comfort, most trekking poles come with a funky grip because you're using it, you're using it as a trekking pole. Ours is for comfort. You're going to hold it like a golf club. And what we want to offer is an aftermarket trekking pole for a third entry price, right in the middle. So you have Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, right? The Baby Bear is the foot. Go on with your existing trekking pole. But if you're somebody who likes to buy from home, hey, get the Mama Bear. The trekking pole it's a regular trekking pole without the golf grip, without our branding, but the foot's going to attach to it, and we'll give you a warranty on both items. But if you want the branded one, you get the Chickenfoot branded trekking pole with the golf grip, custom grip, with the foot and the warranty. So there's 3 entry points, and we think that's going to be. That was actually one of our biggest barriers to the product, which was, people, price, right? I mean, you know our community, the bocce community, very price conscious. We get it. At the same time, sports equipment is not cheap. Bocce balls are not cheap. Everything is not cheap, right? So we think that three entry points is going to be good. Why? We've already seen bocce clubs come to us for multiple multiple chicken feet, right? So, hey, if you need 8, you need 10, you need 18, I think is the most we sold. And now you can have one for everybody in your club. So yeah, we've worked with a couple clubs. We've recommended some trekking poles that we know work, and we sold them the feet for the baby bear price.
You see, and that's great that you like the price point, because when you have an older community playing this game, they're on pretty much a fixed income, and they might not be able to afford one thing or another. What I'll do on our emails that I send out, I will put down what we just spoke about, and hopefully people will watch this episode just for that fact, because there are people out there on our courts that you tell that it's getting to a point where it's not that easy for them to bend over. It's not that easy for them to get around anymore.
Yeah. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. So, and it's one of those things where I think because most of the people that play on our courts don't go to the tournament, so they don't even know who you guys are. So what I think I'll do is I'll buy one from you guys just as the prototype to show them. And then I could give it to one guy. Hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? And then we could kind of move down that road. And hopefully, with the 15 or however elderly people we have now, maybe you get 15 sales. And I could bring it to
you won't be the first one to do it. We have Northern California, Will Kessler has called and said, hey, the foot that I bought, I just gave it to somebody. So, Northern California's behind it. Kansas City's behind it. Miami, I'm talking to Joe from the East Coast.
Okay.
It's you hit it the nail on the head. It's if you see what it does and you immediately know that's for me.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if they see somebody that doesn't need one playing with it and showing them, they might be more apt to go, okay, you know what? Let me try that. And we go from there on that. I always basically say that, any idea that you have is a good idea. You just have to run with it. There's nothing wrong with trying something different and trying something new, especially in our sport. Our sport, as we all know, it's not as prevalent as pickleball is. It's not as prevalent as a lot of the other stuff. We've got to make it move forward so it can.
Yeah, Mark, you nailed it. Go, Dad.
No, I would just don't do like I did and forget what you're going to say. When we started, Nathan did so much research that Chris from Lexington quoted there was like 5,000 bocce players. Nathan found 3 million bocce players in America 7 years ago. So,
and you're right. It's just a matter of them coming out and doing what we do.
Right. Yeah. Right. And you hit the nail on the head. Like, the community is resourceful, we're engaged, and there's no reason why bocce cannot be. And in my heart, it's the king of all those yard sports. It really is. Yeah. It's the third most participated sport in the world, right? It's just, and I'm sure you've seen the same thing when people walk by your courts and they see it happening. They're attracted to it. They stop and they watch, right? I mean, and there's a magic there, right? And it's something that doesn't happen with pickleball or disc golf, right? It's something that that this sport has been around for a while. There's a culture there. There's a pride in people owning bocce courts in their backyard. They want to show it off, and I really feel like the community is really circling the wagons on the trend of bocce, and we're just going to see it go up. And I tell you, when I talk to people here in the barbecue community about bocce, their eyes light up. Like they get it. They get smoked meats. They get hanging out around, having some beer, smoking meats, and playing some bocce. And that, to me, you can tie that all together because I don't want to play pickleball. Not that I have anything against it. I would rather play bocce. I'd rather hang out and have a conversation and talk and roll. You know, so that's what I love. That's what really got me into bocce was when my dad pulled me into his court. I'm watching the games, but I'm listening to the conversations on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. And these guys are just giving me stories and experiences. And I walked away, not only learning about the bocce court, but I walked away with advice about family, advice about marriage, advice about business, unsolicited, but it was amazing. And that's our community, right? That's our community. So if when we thread all that together from all the talent within the community, you know, and you know, one thing that sticks in my mind was I listened to your show with Chris, and you know, he was talking about really unifying bocce, right? Like really doing it the right way. When I'm talking about doing this barbecue and bocce, I kind of want to start doing it, you know, showing them how to play the right way, right? The way that if you want to get on a bocce court and play professionally, these are the real rules, right? This is how we do it. Why not we start from that beginning, start from that point, and show them how to volo, right? How to throw the ball, what the rules really are. If we're going to do it, and we're working with guys who are precision, you know, when it comes to barbecue, look, it's easy to switch right over and understand precision when it comes to this as well, right? Let's go.
Right. It's definitely a sport that is really, really easy to learn. You can learn the game in 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. It takes a lifetime to actually master it. But what you get in that lifetime is you get the camaraderie of coming down and hearing the stories of the older people, introducing it to younger people. When you're in that kind of like that, I call like some of us, we're in kind of like that gray area. We're older, but we're not at that stage, and we're not like young like the Bocce Bros. We're kind of like in that gray area, and we're the ones that really have to kind of keep pulling it. Let's go, because we have to make the difference of bringing in younger people. Now I got a question. I ask this question a lot to a lot of people. So when you watch like ESPN, you know, 8 or whatever it is that they have some of these wacky sports on, why is it? I mean, I have my own opinion, but I want to hear what your opinion is. Why is it that our game is not on there? Why is it that the Olympics opened up sports, and ours being the oldest sport known to man pretty much, how come we didn't get a spot? Your opinion on that?
My opinion is it's all about the money. It's all about the money. You look at, I can't even think of the name of it. When you throw the beanbag into the hole, cornhole. Okay, you see that on ESPN. Do you see the national sponsors that they've got on that?
Okay.
People that in the background, you see all the signs. That's because they're pouring money into it, because they're paying for the sponsorship just to be on ESPN. We don't have that. We don't have that in bocce. And if we did, we'd be on ESPN. Now, when we win the lotto and you know, have a gazillion $1 million, I'm going to sponsor a bocce tournament somewhere, and I'm going to have Chickenfoot everywhere. Okay, but I live on a fixed income. I'm retired.
Right.
And what Chickenfoot allows me to do is travel these national tournaments and just be part of it. So you don't see bocce on ESPN or anything like that, and that's why I think Michael Sheldon should get all the credit for Bocce Ball Network. You can see it on Yahoo. You could see it and see a Dallas tournament. He didn't do Dallas. I'm sorry. There was a real reason why he didn't do Dallas. Mm-hmm. But he does Vegas. He does New York. He does New York bocce. You just go on YouTube and Q and BBN. But if it wasn't for that, the people in my community wouldn't know what tournament bocce is. So for me, it's all about the money.
Right. Nathan, what's your take on your opinion?
I think I'm going to go save the best for last, right? You saw, you know, all the other sports come out. I think bocce is the king of all of that. I think bocce comes with culture. And I think if the community can properly, I'm not saying properly, if we can communicate that culture to the rest of the world, our audience is so much bigger than I think the other sports, right? Our audience is so much. So when we talk about culture, me and my dad, we talk about family, about the father-son aspect, about where can you play bocce? I think that's a big barrier right there, is people don't know where to play bocce at. And you can play, and we need to show them you can play in your backyard, you can play at a park, you can play anywhere, and this is how you do it. And you don't need to buy very expensive equipment. You can go out and get some cheap bocce balls and just have fun with your family. And I think if we get to that stage where we're really just marketing bocce as a family sport, as a fun sport, and hey, if you want to take it a little bit more serious, here's the courts that you can play in. Here are the real proper rules, and contact somebody, and we'll let you know where to play locally in your area. And because as well as I do, is once you get a group of people to play, like maybe 5% are really going to start taking it serious and catching bugs and really start going with it. Right. So I think that's really what it is. And if we can sell that, if we can market that culture of bocce, of family, of community, of history, there's also an element of high end, right? We know, I know a lot of people, I don't know a lot of people, but I know people who, we come from San Jose Bay Area, right? Los Gatos. A lot of those guys have bocce courts in their backyard. And that's a jewel. That's a gem. That's a feature, right? They're proud of that. Why? Because they did it. There's culture there. It's beautiful. You can walk by a bocce court and think you're in a garden, right? You can't say that about pickleball. You can't say that about cornhole. That's what I think is we need to tie those elements together: culture, family, garden. That relaxing area. That hey, when you play, you're active. It's for everybody of all ages. When we weave all of that together, I think that we're going to end up sitting on top of the sports.
Yeah.
Your game.
Yeah. No. I all of the opinions that I hear, everybody has kind of a different. Everything just makes sense. We had a long discussion after one of our, I think it was in Dallas. We were talking about is how come we're not, how come this thing is not on TV in Dallas? And you're right, the sponsorship. You're right, just getting the whole thing kind of getting going. But I came up with the one reason why we'll never be on unless we take care of one thing. And I believe we need to take care of the rules being consistent across the board. Kind of like baseball. You have rules in baseball. 3 strikes, 4 balls, it goes over the fence, it's a home run. And it's a home run regardless of how long the field is, how short the field is. But when you get on the field, you know what the rules are. Until we come together as a nation of bocce players and go, okay, these are the set rules for the game, I don't think we'll ever be taken seriously. If you go to our courts in Southern California, we have a set of Southern California rules. You go to Northern California, you go to a tournament in Reno, they have rules. Go to Ohio, they have their own set of rules. I'm not saying what's theirs is wrong and ours is right. There isn't a right or wrong here. It's a matter of we need to come together and make an effort to streamline and organize the rules, because no one's going to put us on TV and go, okay, today we're in Southern California, so the rules are this. It just that it'll never work because no one will take it seriously, because we need to make it more of a backyard game. We need to make it a global game. And you know what? They have the Punta Raffavolo. They do that all over internationally, and it's great. We just don't have the facilities for that, nor do we have the manpower to play a game like that. So the open game is America's game, for the lack of a better term, because it's easy to play, it's easy to do, but we need to streamline and organize the rules much better. And that's just my opinion. That goes with everything we just spoke about, because I think all of that would make us the much more popular sport. So
I agree 100%. Yeah, exactly. And that's how you're going to get consistently good players, right? Everybody knows the rules, right? Everybody's playing by the same, and we can do regionals, and everybody can build their way up to a national competition. I agree,
right.
100%.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of what I talked to Chris about. He kind of hit the nail on the head. How do you have a World Series of bocce, or let's say the Nationals, where you pay your money, you go in, and there you are, as opposed to teams coming from different regions to qualify to actually play in the Nationals. So we have a lot that we need to do as a bocce community, but I feel very positive in the long run, and that's why these conversations are phenomenal, because you get to hear other people's ideas. We get to know each other. It makes our community smaller, because you're in Phoenix, you're in Austin, I'm here in Southern California, but we're sitting here having a conversation about the same thing that we like to do. Actually,
Yeah.
And so go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's the love of the game and the passion and the desire to expand the game, not only to friends and family, but for me, Nathan knows this. My grandson.
Yeah.
I'm bringing him to this year.
Yeah.
He got his Chickenfoot shirt with his name on it. He's going to be my alternate. So here we go.
So now we've kind of discussed, the what if anybody listened to us, that would make us an Olympic sport. But let's get back to your product, because that's something that I'm always fascinated with, because I'm always fascinated with somebody that's able to engineer something and be able to come into play. Do you guys have like a factory that you do this out of? How do you do the processing of it? Do you make it per sale, or run us through that whole the manufacturing end of it?
Sure. So we came out in 2016. We were developing it back in 2014, 2015, using 3D printing technology, right? That's what Martin, our engineer, he's a good friend. He's a partner. He's part of the company. Him and I worked together at General Dynamics. This guy was developing these deep space dish antennas that talk to satellites that go all the way, outside our solar system. Making sure that they could take the wind and the ice balance and all that. So 3D print technology came out, and we just started talking about it. We bought one, and we started developing it and prototyping it, and that was fun, right? So my dad comes to us with his original design. We looked at it. We kicked around maybe 6 different versions of it, so we got to what we think was the final one. And then, and it's funny because a lot of the breakthroughs just come, having a beer and talking, on the bocce court, really using it. What can we do? How can we improve it? And so, the first version, like my dad said, was a fixed length. We had a 33-inch and a 36-inch fixed length. The foot was glued epoxy to the pole. We only made 300 of those, and we sold out of them within, I think, 2 years. So that was our first little bet, right? So the way we managed our company was placing little bets, and that's how we were able to stay in the game for so long. So that was our first sort of little bet. And then when we sold that, we're like, okay, what are we going to do next? How can we improve on this? And the first thing was we can't continue to make fixed length poles, right? We have to make it travel size, and we got to make the foot replaceable, because we got complaints about, not complaints, but the foot broke. The heat, extreme heat in Texas and Arizona, the epoxy, after multiple use, people left in their trunk. The epoxy failed on two of the versions, I think. We fixed it, but we looked at the trucking pole. That just seemed to be, that was something I think we talked about over a bocce game, which is, why don't we use a trucking pole? And we were just sitting there stuck for 6 months on what we were going to do next with the trucking pole. And Martin just picks it up. He looks at the thread. He's like, look, there's a thread right there. That's such a natural, right? Let's use that, right? So I said, okay, what are we going to do? And we had already purchased a mold so it's injection molded. And our first manufacturer was in Orange County. So we had to get the money together. I think it cost like, I don't know, $18,000 to purchase this injection mold that you could just put the high intensity plastic in. It would make it, and that was that. So we took the same mold and we added a threading inside.
Okay.
We actually, and then when we knew that would work, then we had to create a whole different mold to make the foot more. It was more durable, right? What we did was we hollowed out the inside. Martin knows how to make it stronger. Like I'm saying, the guy's incredibly talented. So we got a whole new mold. We put the threading inside, and our manufacturer, Moonshot, out of Southern California, they were able to manufacture that for us. So we purchased, I think it was I don't know, a couple of 600 units of the foot itself. And again, that was designed on another 3D printer that we purchased. So we've gone through two 3D printers. And there was a point during COVID where we're like, should we sell the 3D printer version or should we wait and do the injection? We didn't know, right? These are all small bets. So we decided to manufacture a bunch of the 3D printed ones. I think we made about 75 of those. And we just use those tests on different 100 on different trekking poles. And again, it's just those little things, right? Where, you're kind of stuck, 3 months later, and we're just like, pull the trigger. Let's just buy another mold and do it. And we did that. And then we went to go get the trekking poles from another manufacturer, I think back east somewhere. And they were able to put the logo on it, the golf grip on it. And it's just sort of that one thing. It's all right there in front of you, but it takes that time and that focus and energy to be like, oh, we could put the golf grip on top of this easily as well, right? Oh, we could put and if you look, we want to do, the logo's kind of the wrong way on the ones that we have right now. It reads upwards. We want it to read downwards on the next one. But, it's those little things where you get so excited and you're like, okay, let's do it. And you put it in,
Right. It's it's the aesthetics that probably no one notices except you because you're the ones building it.
That's it. And so then we went to go buy, and the thing with the trekking poles is you can't just buy one, you got to buy two, right? So that was cool, right? That cut our price in half, right? So boom. So now we got the foot, we got two trekking poles. My dad is the one, he's actually manually putting the golf grips on. He learned how to do that from the PGA store. He figured out how to do that. So my dad's, he's out there putting the grips on there.
I'm sending you my clubs because I need new grips, and I am just a mechanical idiot with stuff like that.
But better yet, why don't you just come on out, bring your clubs? We'll play some golf. We'll play some bocce. You'll go home with new grips.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it's all about.
I got a room right here with your name on it.
All right, I'm always, because I'm retired too, so I got nothing but time.
Anytime you want, but you got to book the room. We have a lot of guests that come from California out here.
I will definitely take you up on the offer. If there's golf and there's bocce, I'm in. Oh, which reminds me, because I was thinking it's so hot there, so heat. You guys going to Vegas?
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't know why I kind of thought about that. That just popped into my head. I wanted to make sure that I asked if you guys were going. So who's your third and your fourth? Is it Joe? And who's your fourth?
The third is going to be my brother.
Oh, great. Excellent.
My brother. And then we wanted to get Joe as an alternate, but my grandson stepped up and said, I want to be the alternate. So he's coming.
There you go.
Joe's going to be on another team.
Okay.
But if we go to for sure, he will be on our team in Dallas for sure.
Excellent. So it actually sounds like this Chickenfoot, the product, that it grew from something that was a necessity, and then it became a labor of love, where you guys really put into it. Because I've seen it. I've never held one. I've seen it up close. Nathan, you showed it to me. It's not a wonky piece of equipment. It's an actual factual, really good, solid piece of equipment. You see a lot of the guys, at least out here, they take a bunch of copper piping and they kind of cobble together one that you can't even lean on it. This one, you look like you could lean on. It's excuse me. It's a product that you guys should be very, very proud of. And that's why I'm very, very happy to have you guys on, so we could kind of try to help you move this down the road, because not one person here in Southern California has that. So let's see if we could open up the market here in Southern California. So this is my pitch to you. I am going to buy one because our season is opening probably in 2 months. And we go throughout Southern California to the different tournaments. And I will bring it and I will put it at our little pop-up tent. People always ask, what's that? What's that? And I will show it to them. Hopefully we could get sales out of that, because you haven't tapped into Southern California yet, because I haven't seen one of those things used here. And I think that's something that we need to do for you guys, is to tap into that resource here in Southern California.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate. We are very proud. We feel like the product and the logo and the branding are really something that we're proud of, and it's something that we want to add to Bocce. I think you will agree that we've seen a desire for people to want to be and wear Bocce related clothing and have those items, and that's so exciting for us to see. And like you said, you opened up with Chickenfoot. What a unique name! And that's how the name came about. Was the two sort of the feet. It looked like a chicken foot was what my dad said. And we kicked that name around for probably a month and a half, and go for it. Why not? It makes so much sense. And that to me is kind of like what I've learned working with my dad is just go for it. Let's do it. Why not? And every time we said that, you just exactly. And it's been great. And to bring my son into it, and my uncle and my dad and my mom, we're all going to be there in Vegas together. And to me, that's winning. And playing together. And my dad and I own patents together. We own trademarks together. Like,
Good for you guys.
I put in my book right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's awesome. And so we're very happy about all of that. Very happy to be a part of the Bocce community, and we just see the community just growing. It's going to go up and down, ebbs and flows, but.
And you guys are great, because you go to tournaments, everybody knows who you guys are, because of the name and because of the product. That's a testament to both of you. It really, really, really is. I tip my hat. You two are together, father and son. You see it a lot, but you could tell that there's a common bond between both of you. So before we end this, it's a really good conversation. We could go on forever about this. I have a real quick question that I kind of want to start to ask, and it goes for both of you. You can't answer at the same time. What, in your years of playing Bocce, whether it be a short amount of time or a long amount of time, what is one thing that stands out the most for you? Who wants to answer first?
For me, like I said in the beginning, any day I can play Bocce with my son is a great day.
There you go.
So yes, Nathan and I have a great relationship. I love him. I love him to death, and the fact that we can play together nationally, we can play together on the same court. It's about family. It's about having fun, and it's. I don't know how else can I express the love I have for my son than to give him a big hug when we win, and give him a big hug when we don't win. But it's just the passion for the game and the passion and love I have for my son.
That's excellent. And Nathan, what about you? What's the ultimate thing that you've experienced? The one ultimate thing in Bocce?
We played at the Peppermill tournament a couple years back when we first started, and we played against a team The gentleman came in with an oxygen tank and a cane. His wife was there. They must have been in their late 80s. And it was one of the most intense competitions I have ever had. We lost. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Better luck next time." And I was hooked from that moment on, because I was like, how awesome is this, right? How awesome is that? Like, I play with guys, sports, basketball, whatever. But the fact that a great grandmother, probably a great great grandmother, just mopped us up and was so sweet about it. The class, the intensity. And I knew that I could turn around and go take my 5-year-old son at that time, or 5-year-old son, and go play with him and show him and give him the chance to beat his dad, right? That competition between people of all ages and all abilities, I think is just, it's beautiful, really. It's awesome.
That's absolutely and positively excellent. Hey, I want to really, really thank you guys for coming on, taking the time out, and sitting down, and talking to me. And you have my email. Anything you need, just give me a holler. But we'll catch up more in Vegas, and everything. Like I said, I'm going to put all the description, the link down below here on the YouTube channel. And like I said, I'm going to get right on right now. I'm going to order it so we could start promoting it for you out here. So until we see each other in Las Vegas, let's kind of just keep rolling it. Let it fly. Let it fly. All righty.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
All right. We'll catch you later. Bye.